It's great to be here, and I want to thank President Lowe for all of his leadership. This is an outstanding, a source of pride for all of us as Marylanders, the things that are happening here at the Smith School, at the Dingman Center, and what a tremendous day I know that you've already had. Congratulations to 10G Systems, Food Safety Administration, Reed Street Production, Route 1 Apparel, and Visisonics, is that how you say that? Visisonics? Congratulations to all of you. To President Lowe, to Dean Anand, with both of whom I traveled to China and to India and so many other members of the University of Maryland family, to Chairman Mark Walsh, who does an outstanding job here, and everyone with the Dingman Center for Entrepreneurship. Thanks for your commitment and the commitment of the University of Maryland to making Maryland's children and the next generation winners in this new economy. You know, progress is a choice. Whether you win or whether you lose is all about choices that we make. So to Mike Binko and to Julie Lenzer and everyone with the Startup Maryland Board, thanks for such a great kickoff. I know you had that kickoff earlier today, part of President Obama's effort to Startup America. To Kevin Plank and everyone with Under Armour, and also to Mayor Plank. Once a mayor, always a mayor. Mayor, it's good to see you here, and I'm sure you're very proud of your son. And to Rob McGovern and everyone with JobFox, to Sam Medile and everyone with ProPark America, to Michael Schwab, everyone with D&H Distributing, to Ropara, everyone with Daylight Partners, to all the judges, sponsors, contestants, and finally, to all of you, congratulations, and thank you for your commitment to job creation in Maryland. I wanted to share just a few thoughts with you. I know that I'm Kevin Plank's warm-up act, so I'm going to try to be mindful of the august job to which I have been called. By the way, I love those drums. They look very much like two signature Under Armour designed helmets I have on the governor's desk. I got to get a set of those drums. Let me talk with you seriously, if I may, and as briefly as I can, and kind of capsulize our challenge as a state. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only guy that gets to actually sit up in the lifeguard's chair and see the whole beach arrayed. We are a phenomenal state. We have tremendous strengths, and like any big organization, any large community, there are some aspects of our ecosystem for job creation and entrepreneurship that are stronger than others. And that's true of every state. But there is no reason why our state should not be number one in entrepreneurship, number one in innovation, and therefore number one in the job creation for this new knowledge-based economy. You know, some of you may have read some of the work by your neighbor in Bethesda, Maryland, Tom Friedman, who wrote the book, you know, Flat, Hot, and Crowded, and recently the more recent title of his book was what? That Used to Be Us. Talking about this amazing job-generating, opportunity-expanding experiment that has been the United States of America. And from Friedman's standpoint, he says that, you know, there's an equation here, and there's certain pillars that have allowed us in every generation to create more jobs and more opportunities for the next generation. And some of those, he talks about a rational immigration policy. He talks about predictable and stable rule of law. He talks about investments in infrastructure, but he also talks about two things, and that's really the focus of just a couple brief thoughts I have for you as we wait for the judges to come back. There's certain investments that we can only make all together, and one of those is in education, and the other is in basic research and development. And Friedman argues that each of those pillars, if you will, are in need of some shoring up. As Marylanders, we are an entrepreneurial people. We understand that education plus entrepreneurship equals greater opportunity, that education plus entrepreneurship equals better, more, and higher paying jobs. And I have some good news for you. This is hot off the press. We just learned that over the last year, the people of our state created 47,000 new jobs. We've now recovered 80% of the jobs we lost in the Great Recession. National average is about 39% is what the nation's recovered. So we're moving out of this recession. We're moving out more quickly than other states. And I'd submit to you a big part of the reason for that are the investments that we have made as a people in the most important of all capital, and that is human capital, the skills, the talent, the education of our people. We are home to world-class institutions of science, discovery, and higher learning, like the University of Maryland and 50 federal facilities. What's more, Wallace Slowe mentioned the fact that not just once, but for 4 years in a row, and even in the middle of this recession, we were able to protect and make historic investments in K-12 education, investments here that allowed us to make college education more affordable, and these were in tough times. So we've been named #1 public schools 4 years in a row by Education Week magazine. More of our kids take AP courses in our high schools and pass them than in any other state in America. We're #1 now in terms of the number of our preschool kids who enter kindergarten ready to learn. And just about 6 years ago, we ranked 6th out of 50 states in terms of how expensive college tuition was at our 4-year universities. We've now moved down to 23rd. And we still need to take steps to make college more affordable for more people, because when everyone's doing better, we all do better. And the more a person learns, the more a person earns. It's little wonder then, given the choices we've made, given those assets, given the investments we've forged the precious consensus to make, Milken Institute ranks your state #2 in terms of science and technology. The Kauffman New Economy Index ranks us #3. And the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, hardly a mouthpiece for the O'Malley-Brown administration or the Maryland Democratic Party, ranks us 5th among states that are best positioned for growth, and one of the top 7 states in America for innovation and entrepreneurship. Now, I recite all of those things because, unfortunately, one aspect of our character that I've noticed is that we also suffer as Marylanders from a pathological modesty, and we are the last ones ever to acknowledge that we are really doing some things really, really well. So with that having been stated, let me talk about one thing that we do not do as well as we could and as we should, and that is commercializing the great ideas at our research institutions, at our labs, at our centers of higher learning and innovation and discovery. That same Kauffman New Economy Index, which said that we were in the top 3 for innovation and entrepreneurship, when they looked at that commercialization effort or entrepreneurial activity, they ranked us 37th. That was the year before. Because of the good work here at the Dingman Center and other places and efforts by Wallace, President Lowe, to align incentives and to encourage entrepreneurship among all of our researchers, we moved from 37th 2 years ago. Last year we moved up to 20th, but better isn't good enough. We need to be #1. How is it that we could be #1 in research and allow ourselves to be content at 37 or 20th in entrepreneurship, which of course is therefore where the Cupid Cup matters so very, very much. To create jobs and get to #1, the work that all of today's honorees is doing is so very, very important. We want to create jobs, we need to create jobs, we need to get to #1, and it's not what other people are doing, it's what we're not doing for ourselves. And therefore, we need to dial up the impact, and the launch today of Startup Maryland was a very, very important step. 200 Maryland entrepreneurs are involved with Startup Maryland, and there are a number of other things that we can do, and I just want to highlight 5 of them as I conclude here. First, 2 of the most important words for entrepreneurship and job creation, getting the ideas out of the labs and into a position of creating jobs, are those beautiful words that I know ring clear in every ear and of every person, every student and aspiring entrepreneur, and those words are venture capital. Venture capital. Last year, our state took a bold move, and we created a $75 million, we thought it would be a $75 million fund of venture capital by allowing large insurance companies to forward pay their tax liabilities at a discount. We did those at auction, and as a result, instead of $75 million, we now have $84 million to improve that piece of the ecosystem here for entrepreneurship where venture capital is concerned. Secondly, education. In order to create jobs, a modern economy requires modern investments. Our economy is an innovation economy, but no one else. China's not going to make these investments for us. India's not going to make these investments for us, which is why even when cutting $7.5 billion, I've had the dubious distinction now of having to cut state government by more than any governor in Maryland history. We have nonetheless made record investments in education and making college more affordable. Number three, we are investing directly into Maryland's innovation economy through an effort called Bio 2020. How do we do that? We do it in terms of research and development with things like the R&D tax credit, things like the biotech tax credit, things like stem cell research. There are very few other states who are increasing those efforts rather than doing away with them, repealing them, or pulling them back in these tough times. You and I together are doing more of that. How else are we doing it? We're doing it with things like the Capitol construction that I saw over here at the long-awaited new physics building here on campus, and other efforts where we use our AAA bond rating. Your state's one of only 8 that still has a AAA bond rating, and we use that to make the capital investments in life sciences, in technology, and in physics and the other sciences at our universities. We've also are passing, I believe, has it passed yet, Christian Johansson, the Innovation Initiative in the Maryland General Assembly? We are close to passing. Expectations become behavior. I expect that we will pass in the next 10 and 9 days that are left in the General Assembly, an initiative called the Maryland Innovation Initiative. What is it? It is a partnership between University of Maryland, Johns Hopkins, and Morgan to move 40 ideas every year out of the labs and into the economy. President Lowe and the University of Maryland have shown great leadership in teaming with Johns Hopkins and Morgan, and this will be a historic partnership. Number 5, and finally, inspired by the success of the Cupid Cup, today we're announcing a first-of-its-kind contest hosted by the Governor's Office, the University of Maryland, and the Baltimore Angels. Not a baseball team, but a great team of venture capitalists, entrepreneurs, business leaders who make angel investments in startups. I've seen this work in other states. Notably, I was talking with Christian, visited Minnesota, and see where they do the same sort of thing. But using the new online multimedia platform known as Pinterest. Any of you know what Pinterest is? Yeah, a few of you? All right. I told Wallace as we were looking at all the voting, this stuff makes us feel old. The world's moving quicker than we can keep up with it. We're asking Marylanders to pitch their best new business ideas, and the Baltimore Angels are offering some great prizes to the winners. And of course, the best prize of all will be if they actually invest in the startup that are brought forward. The winning ideas will be featured on our Pinterest page as well. So look, in conclusion, we're very, very fortunate people on this planet. Why is that? Because we are Americans. And our parents and our grandparents did not give us a car. They gave us a country. It's not a thing, whether country or state. These are not things to be traded in when they get old. They're things to be built up. They're things to be strengthened. And the reason we build them up and the reason we strengthen them is because we have not only an obligation to keep faith with the past, we have a responsibility to create jobs and expand opportunity for the future. Being entrepreneurs is a critically important part of that. Being Americans, being willing to invest in the country that you believe in is another important part of that. And I thank all of you so much for leading the way here at the University of Maryland. Thanks.